This is your weekend market review for Saturday, July 6th, 2024. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market review for Saturday, July 6th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, enjoying the holiday week, 4th of July, and yeah, we got a lot of talk going into next week. So we talked about holiday weeks typically being bullish. Stocks that were up seem to be the mega tech. Stocks that were down seem to be commodities, certain material names, certain industrials. It's kind of, again, it's still this like choppy, sloppy bag. Again, it's summer, light volume. I've warned folks again, do not be surprised by such. Again, you can hold up, you can hold down. All sorts of things can happen for particular stocks in the summer market because, again, it's low volume, not a lot of people around. Moves get, I would say, almost exacerbated. And so the leaders lead, the laggards lag, and the losers lose. And that's what happens in the summer. And so we got to be careful. And we know going into next week, we've got CPI, PPI, got the start of earnings on Friday with some of the big banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. So knowing that with the PPI, CPI, maybe, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday could be just a lot of, I don't know, choppiness, pullback maybe, I don't know. It's going to be one of those markets, again, where you just define your risk, know your levels, and act accordingly. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. If you want, follow our trades all on X. Post them constantly. A lot of things going on. If you want to chat, do not hesitate to use the link. Come on in. Seriously, let's chat. If you have questions, you want to, ask a particular question about whether it's the markets, real estate, you're struggling with, what to do about a home purchase, sale, let me know. I can help. New to the channel, check out the website as well. For some reason, website. What are you doing? Ad blocker. Bleh. Don't need that. Hit me up. Again, use the website. Again, I present all the love, support. Again, check out the record and the readings, Twitter posts on here, all sorts of stuff, interactive brokers. Anything you might need related to trading or real estate, hit me up. Also follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And again, remember, all the education videos are on the website as well as the YouTube channel. So we know going into the next meeting in July, which is, I think, is it next, the following week, July 18th, I think. Nope. So, sorry, July 31st. I apologize. There's nothing expected. Nothing expected till September. If something's coming in September, what are they expecting? Right? Like, why would they start cutting rates at this point? What's the rush? I'm telling you right now, the economic data is falling off a cliff. People who see it, see it. Real estate's slowing. Commercial real estate in the toilet. A lot of these countries overseas in the toilet. Be careful out there, right? Bitcoin. Well, what do we know? What did I say last week? I said, be careful. If this thing doesn't really start lifting, it's got the possibility to pull back. You got to the bottom of the range, bouncing. I mean, your guess is as good as mine on the next version. I mean, again, I think you could come back to the back test this trend line in the 50,000 to 52,000 area. So be careful out there. Again, it's like, do you trust gold, Bitcoin? No, I don't trust any of this stuff, in my opinion. I really don't. Why? Because I'm waiting for the Feds to pivot. Oil, as we've talked about, it's been holding up, oversold, had the hurricane come through. Okay, we'll see what happens next week. Natural gas, love this trade. We've talked about how bottom down here, talked about potentially popping, head and shoulders top near term, let it pull back. It seems to be holding that 250 zone for now. If you're trading around it, great. Again, I've said this and I've said over on record. There's no downside really down here in the 150 range. When it started popping, expect pullbacks. That's just the nature of the beast. The dollar, we talked about, it's the biggest turd, the floatiest turd in the toilet. I don't know. End of last week kind of just pulled back. But again, volume was heavier than expected. I'm just, again, noticing, watching. Because again, the economic data is crap. Will it hold up? We'll see. TLT, interesting. Back test this trend line essentially. Thought we might get tired here. Nope. And the data was so bad on Thursday and Friday, they bought the bond market. I mean, it's hard. I've said this, be aware. Like, I do think if you're long-term trading bonds, makes sense. If you're short-term, be careful. VIX, again, in the 11s, 12s, it's an absolute joke. But hey, you know what? They're doing it, and this is what's happening. You got to know the market you're in. VIX has been chopping, making higher lows potentially. SPY ripped at the close again. Again, new highs is what it is. That's the thing. Trade around it. Not all names are following, right? QQQ got a massive pump from some of the tech names, right? There you go. Especially the mega tech. We talked about like the IWM not following at all, right? Dia barely following, right? I mean, it's like the market is bifurcated based on what the special seven or whatever you want to call it, like whatever's working over the last couple of days, and that's kind of what it was, especially with economic data last week. I mean, it was boof on goo. Uh, Gold, hey, congrats again. We talked. Okay, remember I said down here last week, I said do not be surprised seasonality if there's a pop in gold. Do I trust it? No. Again, Bitcoin not really confirming it. Remember, July can be seasonally bullish for gold and silver. We'll see if it does. I mean, so far, I mean, it looks like it has started to build up, but I don't know. Will we break out? Like, that's the $1,000,000 question. Not that we weren't due for a pop, especially like GDX, especially GDXJ. It was just, are we actually going to break out? Oh, excuse me. So here you go, back up into levels. Again, if you trade around it, congrats. If you didn't, congrats as well. Leave it alone, in my opinion. I wouldn't chase. AEM, again, this name's been holding up better. AG, we talked about this one being a laggard. It doesn't really make sense, but it is what it is. Newmont, finally getting back up towards the range highs. Can it break out? I mean, this is a name. If you want to go long, it makes sense here. Again, consolidation pattern. If miners are going to break out, and again, remember, this could just be a couple weeks. I mean, again, the time frame of it, just be careful. That's all. Just don't marry it. How long? I don't know. Traps, be careful. Taiwan Semi, again, we talked about these tech names holding up. Held the 20-day. Said, I mean, again, I still think it's done, but man, look at that. Like a double top. Your guess as good as mine. Again, I expect them to get cremated at some point, but we'll see. Micron, we talked about holding this like 50-day area in the blue range. Okay, not surprised. AMD got a nice pump on the Friday action. Again, I think Biden's really pumping, helping out chips. I mean, I don't know. Could we get up a little higher? Yeah, I mean, not out of the realm. NVIDIA, as we talked about, lagging after it blew off, chopping here at the 20-day. Congrats if you're trading around it. SMCI, same kind of thing, chopping in a big range. Intellectual property. Now, we did see that there's some call action. We talked about it. If it gets over the 50-day, there's no reason why it shouldn't fill that gap potentially. And so we'll see what happens here. I mean, this 32.32 area is a breakout. Again, if you've owned it for the last 2.5 months, you just absolutely wasted your time. But now's the time. Again, that's why we talk about it. You don't have to marry a trade. Wait for it to set up. And if it sets up, it goes. It's kind of like Tesla's we talked about. SMH, here you go, holding up in 20-day. I'm impressed. Ding. Adobe, really wanting to short this, but I haven't. And thank God. I mean, because I'm just waiting for it to make lower, like at least equal lows and not close so high. And it just, all right, is what it is. Filling the gap. I mean, maybe it just needs to get, again, this is what's so hard about shorting on a rising market. You see the VAP zone in here. I mean, maybe it just needs to get up into the 590. Keep an eye on it. Again, whether you do something or not. Apple, been eyeing a short on this one too. And you got to be careful. Right? I mean, that's the thing. This is why you define your risk, have stops. I mean, look at they chased that on Friday. Low volume. Just is what it is. Amazon, 10 to the 200 level. Again, there's potential call action showing going higher, going at Prime Day. Just keep an eye on it. Meta, I mean, again, they all ran into the megatext. Look at that. Zing, boner, swing. Didn't short it, just kind of watching it. Again, on a Friday, light volume after the 4th of July. I mean, if you're shorting stocks, I mean, you're basically hoping for a crash over the weekend, and I didn't see it, so I'm not going to really do much. CRM, Google, again, holding up pretty well. Again, if you have long positions and you raise your stops, I mean, again, this is the thing. You're doing great. Winning's winning. Don't worry about what other people think. I mean, I could be wrong. Your neighbor can be wrong. Everyone can be wrong. Just try to be right based on your own. And GOOG holding up again. Microsoft, all these mega techs caught some volume. NDAQ again. We've talked about this going nowhere, sideways fast. MicroStrategy with Bitcoin dropped it early, held our support. You're welcome. This is why we draw these levels because they do matter. We'll see if it holds. Bitcoin should bounce then. Netflix again chased up. Good luck. I mean, it's one of those things. Roblox, as we talked about, holding up pretty well here. Like, again, after it gapped down, now you're going to get to probably fill the gap. And then what? Good question. PanW, again, we talked about this one, getting over the 320s. There was a trade here, and not surprised it's getting stuck here. Okay, well, now you see 345 has to break over, and then it can continue. If not, maybe it takes a siesta, maybe it pulls back. Again, we'll see. Tesla, speaking of like trades that we talked about, could like get going nuts. Now, again, did we expect that this nuts? No, but again, I think this is a fact. The more that Trump seems to be leading, probably benefits Tesla. Let's just be honest. We Talked about the pullback to the 100-day. We said it was probably going to rip up to the 200, maybe in the zone. Well, there you go. I mean, you broke the downtrend with volume. I mean, this is not something I'd be sitting in, like, assuming a short on. If you wanted to be shorting it, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. It's been consolidating. It could always get back to the 290, 260 area. So it's a great trade if you've been trading it. Congratulations. Hell yeah. I mean, again, happy for people. We talked about holding the 100-day. Look at that. It's a great trade, man. We identified. We said, look at the breakout, look at the fake out, and then see what happens. And once it built a base and got over 190, man, it was gone. It's a great trade. We identified that, tried to explain how that and why that works. Insight. Again, I like this company on pullbacks. We've talked about them being potentially bought out. I like this. Come on back. Fill these gaps, get in the low 50s. McDonald's tried to break the range lows and then just kind of chopping here again. You got to watch it. DKNG. We've talked about this one endlessly. Again, betting season's over. I mean, I see more downside. 34, 30, somewhere in that range. Airbnb popped up. 50-day, 100-day. This is really sloppy, choppy. I struggle with that one. I don't know. Costco, again, sometimes you don't know. Holding up again, 20-day just seems to be, I mean, it is just riding the lightning. Congrats to them. Starbucks, again, this is a 50-day killer. We've talked about this being a piece of junk. Not much to say. Federal Express, talked about wanting to short up here. I know some people took the trade. And again, multiple day range at 301. Very simple. And so far, it is failed. But again, if you're shorting it, define your risk. Do not let it just go ripping right back. Caterpillar, we talked about industrials lagging again. Here you go, chopping the 20-day. New course, again, material names lagging, right? Just chopping here. X, I mean, we'd like it holding the 35, 36, hit the 200-day backing off. VALE, again, just nothing. Nice little pop, though. I mean, I guess Wednesday, Friday, but it's just not, I don't know, nothing excited about. Arrow, chopping around. Got back up to the gap. I guess that's worth a watch. CCJ, again, I'm not a fan when Goldman upgrades at the high. So far, it's just been kind of sideways action. CF, again, we like ag names. Let them pull back. Let them pull back. Let them pull back. AA Aaron. This one gets interesting, right? Again, we like aluminum long term. Okay. I mean, beware if you're not, I don't know if I really short this, but I'd be looking for lower highs. And if this thing does, then it should come right back down into this 33 area. I guess you could short it. Just, again, define your risk. XLF. What a just frustrating trade. Again, that's why if you got the FAS, it's not so bad. If you had options, trading around it, not so bad. JP Morgan, again, I'm impressed that this is making new highs, considering literally this has to be probably one of the biggest draps, but maybe they're buying it into the dividend, because if Diamond isn't buying the stock, they're not buying back their stock, they're telling you what they think. It's overpriced. Morgan Stanley, same thing, chopping around. Bank of America's been holding up pretty well. Got to give credit where credit's due. Goldman Sachs, right? Holding up pretty well. This is where it gets, carry. It's like junior banks. Nope. Look at that. Wednesday, Friday just annihilated, right? XBI, we talked about a risk on kind of trade. This is just going nowhere. Because again, that's what they like. XL, like look at the housing stocks, right? We talked about, wow, if everything's great, but here you go, making lower lows. Like this is where I'm trying to make the point. Like the market is not simple. Yeah, maybe if you just buy tech stocks, hey, you're looking good. But if you're buying solar names, they're getting burned, right? Now TAN's back to the range of lows, but I don't know. I mean, some of these names, Sedge, Ian Peach, they might be oversold near term. I'd be looking out for that if you were to short these names and you nailed it. Watch the 50-day there. HYG. Again, we like HYG. Just kidding. No, I've always gone on record saying you got to be crazy buying corporate debt. Look, you've got nothing out of it for almost a year. Just be careful, all right? Oil, as we talked about, that was oversold, rallying into the hurricane kind of stuff. Now it's chopping around. Again, I like UNG short. No, I like the cold short. But when I look at UNG, I'm like, please leave us alone. It's a decaying thing. Like you want to short the KLD. And we've talked about the higher KLD goes, the better. The higher it goes, the better. I think it becomes an easy short because remember, it decays as well. Again, we like natural gas long term, but let it pull back. XOP, I mean, again, look at the oil and gas names, just not following through. Something just doesn't make sense. CVE, here we go. Again, Friday, pops back up and gives it back. Valero, I mean, these names popped during the week and then boom, gave it all back. NPC, same thing. Gave it all back. ExxonMobil, really at support resistance. Got to get over it. Couldn't. Backing off now, just watching. Occidentals, we've said, big trading range. Ten cuidado. Buffett is selling the Buffett zone. That's what he does. EQT, again, we like natural gas long term. We like these plays, but let them pull back. Last but not least, your favorite friend at Flex LNG. Because again, I think we'll be natural gas exporters. So going into next week, again, be careful. Looks like the Traders Almanac has a Thursday, Friday that's bullish. We'll see really how it plays out. Because again, if you rally into the CPI data like we have, be careful. I mean, again, watch the bond market, watch some of the dollar, watch how the industrials, again, is it a bifurcated market where there's certain names only leading, everything else is lagging? What will happen on days? Again, IWM, there's a lot going on, folks. And again, in the summer with light volume, they can stretch and pull things around. And if you're not careful, guess what? You get stuck. So it's better to define your risk and be wrong than to marry a trade right now. And certain things just aren't working. Some things are. And so ride the lightning. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Peace.